Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, all the news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's the host.
Hi, folks. Cesar here, back in Studio C. It is Monday evening, March 23rd, 2026. I've got a special show for you tonight. You've heard all about this redistricting going on in the Commonwealth. Tonight, I have a special guest. Gotten to know her over the last few months. Good friend of mine. You're going to want to stay tuned for all this. We've got the entire show dedicated to who she is, the efforts that we're going to talk about tonight, and just everything you want to know from Virginia politics going forward. My guest is Debbie Linick, and she is a former U.S. State Department, Defense Department program director of a faith-based progressive advocacy group. She's a lead fundraiser for an international neurodiversity nonprofit. Debbie, I could read on and on and on, but God bless you. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here tonight.
I got to tell you, before we get into the stuff that we want to talk about, I want the folks to know a little bit about you and what possessed you, and I'll poke fun at you, to become the chairman of the Fairfax County Democratic Committee, or chair lady. Or
so if we're poking fun a little, I would say that it was because you didn't warn me about this job ahead of time, Cesar.
My bad. My bad. I should have. I promise. It gets better.
But yeah. So it's actually, it started out great.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this position for just about 2 months now. We were delayed in bringing, so I took over from Aaron Yohai, who stepped down from being chair at the end of his 2-year term. That usually happens at the beginning of January, but we had a new governor and a Democratic trifecta. And really exciting, she pulled in some really great lawmakers into her administration. And
so she poached a lot of Fairfax County representation.
That's
right?
exactly where I was going.
Okay.
So we had 4 or 5 different special elections that kept us really busy in December. I actually...
Now, real quick, so if the average person doesn't understand how that works,
I'm doing insider baseball,
sorry. So for the folks at home, when someone leaves office, there's a special election and everyone scrambles to fill those open seats.
That's right.
And
the key to that is, so we have the shortest legislative sessions in the country, right? So in an even year like this, our sessions are long. That means they're 60 days. And so when we have special elections with the new governor in place, we really do. We scramble very quickly because we want those lawmakers in place to represent us when the General Assembly starts. And so the governor has just a few short, some short weeks that she's had to make her decisions before then the legislative session started.
Right.
So with those special elections, we got busy with that. We did a fabulous job. We got Democrats elected into all of those seats, and some great new lawmakers that are already doing good things down in Richmond. But that meant that we delayed our party reorganization so that those elections could be behind us. And so I came into office at the end of January. A great new slate of leaders. We have, I'm going to do another insider politics if I can. So we have close to 40 different, I refer to them as CCDs. There's committees, caucuses, and districts that comprise our local party. And so that keeps us really close to the ground. By that I mean that we have these caucuses that represent a diverse range of, whether that be people who are really focused on labor, really focused on environmental issues, really paying attention to women's issues. All of those voices are in our local party, and all of those people, so we're a mix of new and returning chairs working with me to lead the party leadership in Fairfax
And just for clarification of the folks at home, this is how representation happens, right? There are interests here, interests there, and all those folks basically get together and they have a voice on a party platform or committee that then those interests get propagated out. They get voted, supported. Why would you want to lead that crazy zoo of people? I can say it because I was there, but
Right,
what compelled
right,
you
you
to?
remember.
What compelled you to?
It's the era we're living in.
Yeah.
So I had done advocacy, and I love the policy side. You mentioned that I had worked in Defense and State Department, and I got to enact policy there. And then I led advocacy in Virginia for a progressive faith-based organization. Loved working with intergroup partners and bringing us all together for a common purpose. But the common purpose now in the Democratic Party is bringing us back to supporting what people are looking for in terms of an economy that works for everyone, and also a democracy that works for everyone. So Democrats are seeing that horrible man in the White House and what he is doing in terms of these high tariffs that are increasing our prices, taking away our health care so that we can fund a war in Iran. I saw what was going on the other side, and I knew that I no longer wanted to be nonpartisan. So I had worked for many years in a nonpartisan environment, and I joke that I also was part of a bipartisan marriage. It's not that our marriage changed, we've been together for 30 years, but the way my husband will say it is that he did not leave the Republican Party left him.
Interesting. Were you always a Democrat? I mean, growing up? Or
Yeah. So I was definitely always more aligned with democratic values, but I used to be really proud in Virginia that we had real leaders who took things from a broad view. So I was someone who could look at a John Warner before there was Mark Warner, and see someone who really cared about our democracy and our country. And I don't feel like I'm seeing on the other side, so not my neighbors who might support the other side, but the leadership in the Republican Party. I don't think that they stand for all Americans. I certainly don't think that they understand our immigrant communities and the vitality that they bring to us in Virginia. They certainly don't understand federal workers and the importance of what they do in our government. And so those are some of the people I'm thinking of each day when I wake up, and what motivates me to be part of party leadership to present a different vision for our area.
No, that's great. I mean, you reminded me of something, like I remember my mom becoming a U.S. citizen. It was like a super happy day for her. She brought home her little flag, right? She had a little flag, and she was super happy. And then the first time she voted, right, just like super happy. I voted for Clinton. What is that? I don't understand. I'm all young. And she said, well, he's Democrat, and they try to help people. Right? Like that was just like the simplest thing. Like it's a kinder sort of approach. I mean, it's not like that we were on welfare. We were on subsidized housing, food stamps, all that stuff. But we worked hard. We weren't bad people because we were disadvantaged. And I think that has been lost in this whole transformation that the country has gone through. It's almost like we've gone backwards a little bit. So I was just curious if you always had those values, because for me, that was like instilled by my mom. You know, it's kind of, oh, okay, makes sense then.
Yeah, that was foundational for me. When I was campaigning for this position, it wasn't sort of an upbeat story that I had to share. When I was in college, my grandfather, so the immigrant story in my family, on one side, second generation, on the other side, third generation. But my grandfather found the diary that he kept when he was 18 years old, and he was escaping Germany when Hitler came to power. And he wrote it in German shorthand at the time. When he died, he spoke 6 different languages, God bless. He started at least two different businesses that thrived and continued as a legacy to him after he died. But he found that diary, he recorded it into English, and I helped him transcribe and type that up, and that's in the Holocaust Museum these days. So he's not with us anymore, but his legacy definitely is. And what I said when I was running is this was something I was doing for my kids and my grandkids, to be able to look at them and say that during this era, when I look at who's in the White House, I see echoes of what life looked like in the 1930s that made my grandfather leave. And I'm staying put. And I want to be part of the voice that is saying this is not who we are as Americans, and I see a better path for us forward.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. I mean, I think what I get confused about is we the people. I mean, it includes all of us. It doesn't mean one group is subservient to another. That's not what a democracy or equality is about.
And I always feel like I need to clarify, because when I make that statement about how it feels to me like echoes of the 1930s, it is not that I feel fearful as a Jewish person, although I know people in my community are afraid of the rise in anti-Semitism, but I look at who they're coming for first, and I think that it's our immigrant neighbors. And what I see, you know, masked ICE agents. So not anymore in Virginia, right? Because we had what a difference a Democratic trifecta makes.
Elections matter.
Right?
Elections matter.
And so we have laws that the governor is now signing to make sure that we don't have anonymous agents with masks, without badges, and also nowhere near our polls and not near, so.
You know, what gets lost there, and I was talking to a friend, a Republican friend of mine this morning, I think what gets lost and people just get so emotional is, what gets lost is the issue. Like, I am perfectly fine with you rounding up all the criminals if we can identify them, if they've broken our laws, violent crimes, whatever that is, get them the hell out. But the parent that's trying to make a buck, whose only crime was jaywalking, right? They got
or wasn't even a crime.
It's a civil infraction, is my point. It's not a criminal offense. It's just, I don't know where the cruelty started, but it's almost like the punishment and the cruelty is the point, to drive fear into people. And we keep forgetting these are our neighbors. These are our friends. So, but anyway, wow, see, we just finished our first segment, but I told you they'd go fast. So we're going to come back and get into the redistricting piece, because that is topical of everyone. So, folks, when you come back, stick around. We've got a lot more to go, and looking forward to chatting.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
So how was work?
It was 1,300 hours. My math class from 302 was in the trenches. Davy Roth had it the worst. Fractions were coming at him left and right. He just didn't get the damn things. 2 days ago, I tried to teach him what 1/4 of 1/2 was using different sizes of blocks. Yesterday, I tried again by dividing up pizza. Both missions failed.
Oh, no.
But today, I was ready. I created a combat math game where the only way to beat the enemy is to out-fraction them. Davy conquered every last denominator. My game was so successful, the principal is deploying it to math squadrons all over the school.
Anywho, how was your day?
Oh, today my boss treated the office to salad wraps.
Salad wraps.
I know.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it, or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
We're back to the Inside Scoop. Here again, your host.
Hi folks, Cesar here, back again with you in Studio C for a second segment. I have a very special guest, Debbie Linick. She is the chair of the Fairfax County Democratic Committee. Full disclosure, we've put out an invitation to the Republicans as well. Have not heard back, so come on the show. Let's have a conversation. Debbie, thanks for hanging around.
I'm so glad to be here.
Redistricting.
It's what we're all about right now.
It's topical. It's the issue in the Commonwealth. Talk to me about it. How is the party doing? What do you see? What's going on here?
I'll tell you how the party is doing on this, okay? So I felt, so I came in, we were just talking that I was a new chair, right? Been doing this role for 2 months. Wanted to dot every I, cross every T. And so we're getting ready. We are the Democratic Party, so we're going to be democratic about looking at redistricting just like our lawmakers are. So when President Trump turned, you remember last go around, he turned to a Georgia election official, said, find me 12,000 votes, right? We all remember that. And so he's turning around and doing that again this election. He sees the writing on the wall that Republicans are not winning elections since he's come back into the White House. And so he is turning to Texas, and he is turning to Missouri, and most recently to Florida, and he's saying, find me congressional seats. So so he is looking to rig our elections at the congressional level. But here in Virginia, our lawmakers said that we wanted to fight back, but they wanted to ask the voters. So what they've done is they said, we think that Virginia should be fighting back against what Texas is doing. Virginia didn't start this. Texas started it, but we're going to finish it. But we want to know that the voters are behind us. And so that's where they gave me work to do, right?
A little job?
So we've got a little job to educate our voters that we have elections on April 21st, and not just April 21st, right? Elections are happening now because we have early voting in Virginia, and so that is happening at the North County, the Mount Vernon Government Center, and the Fairfax County Government Center. Those 3 sites are open now, and then starting April 11th through April 18th, there will be 13 sites that people can do early voting. So if you voted at Burke Library before, if you voted at Thomas Jefferson Library or Franconia Government Center or any of these other...
The county remote.
Exactly. So that will be open. But what we needed to do first was make sure that our party was on board, right? So we needed to pass a resolution by the party that said, yes, we're going to get on board with what our lawmakers want to do. And so I brought them data people. I brought them communications people. I brought them the head of this campaign. I brought them the lawmakers. They actually cut me off in the middle of my meeting. So I'm chairing the meeting. They said, can we put this to a vote? And so we put it to...
So the party was behind it.
So the party, 98% of the people in that room came out and said, absolutely, this is what we need to be doing.
So real quick, California did something similar, right? They put the referendum to the vote.
That's right.
Okay. So Virginia, if it passes, they'll do it. If they don't,
that's right.
Okay. That sounds pretty democratic to me.
And so important. Yeah. Because we're really proud of the districts. We passed nonpartisan redistricting in 2020, and voters were really happy with that.
So for the folks at home, that was a bipartisan effort to say, let's make the districts as fair and as representative as we can make them and agree, because there's no such thing as nonpartisan stuff. So even the people in that room wanted to.
Right.
Right. So.
Right.
But it passed in 2020.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so we were working on good governance that way. We're fast forward to where we are now, and a president who says, find me more votes, find me more seats. By the way, looking to pass legislation to take away to roll back early voting, to make it harder for college students, to make it harder for women to vote. So we see the kind of what Republicans are doing to rig the elections. And we're asking Virginia voters, do we want to be part of the effort to fight back?
What would you say to folks that find this whole thing just unpalatable? Where it's like, well, why do you have to do that? Or why can't we just not do it? Or leave the districts the way they are?
So the districts will, so in 2030, we will once again go back to nonpartisan redistricting. So we like—
This is a temporary configuration.
Exactly so, right. So this is, I really like the expression that you used, this is fighting fire with water, right?
Yeah.
This is looking at the House of Representatives in DC and recognizing that they've been a doormat to this president. While this president has cut federal workers' jobs, has taken away health care, has taken us into war, most recently in Iran. All of these things Republican Congress has let him do, whether they are legal or not.
There's no check or balance or anything
there. And Congress is currently, the balance of power is less than 5 seats. And so if he is looking to Texas to find him 5 seats, and Florida is coming on next.
So I heard that. So talk to me, tell us more about that. Florida is?
So Florida, so to my understanding, none of the Republican states that are doing this are bringing it before the voters to ask the voters what they want. They're just drawing lines. And this also isn't something new that Republicans have been doing, right? So this goes back to redistricting. So since the early 2000s, Republicans have been creating districts so that their elected officials are choosing their voters instead of allowing their voters to choose their elected officials.
So let me ask you this. So the Democrats have put it to the voters. Why not just do what the Republicans do? If you've got the votes, just redefine the districts. Why are the Democrats?
Because we believe in democracy and we believe in the voice of the people, and so they're giving me work. They're giving our team work to do.
Okay.
But I think that when we're knocking on doors, so we're going out. We are a people-powered movement, and that is what the Democratic Party is, right? So we've got volunteers every day of the week that are knocking doors throughout Fairfax County. And it's important that we're doing this work both at the doors, in our advertising, on our social media. A lot of voters already know what's going on. We have a savvy, sophisticated Fairfax County average resident. But still, you know, there are people busy going about their lives, and we knock doors, and they're like, what? Right? They're like, and so I'm voting in November. No.
April 21st.
April 21st,
Right.
and even now, you know, so bank your vote now.
So there's a lot. By the way, real quick, the proposed changes will take a current district allocation of what looks like 6 to 3.
6 to 5.
6 to 5.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so what that means is there are 6 districts that lean or heavily lean Democratic versus 5 that lean or heavily lean
currently have Republican incumbents in them.
So that's why it's kind of a purple issue. So the proposed district, because of what Texas or Florida will do or has done, it will make it a 10-to-1.
Only if we do our work and make sure that so the loudest voices that are opposing redistricting are the Republican congressmen who don't want to, so they haven't been facing their voters, they haven't been hosting town halls.
Oh, interesting.
You know, Virginia.
Were they voicing their opposition when Texas redrew their map?
I didn't hear anything.
Because that's un-American. Look, I hate this whole redistricting thing.
I hear you.
But when you're playing by someone else's rules and you try to play by those rules and then you get scorned for, then all bets are off. So do it, but do it to win and honor the promise of 2030.
That's
going
right.
back. And that I think people will accept that because I think people understand it wasn't fair to just pluck seats out of Texas and out of some red states because you needed votes.
Right.
I mean, that sounds un-American, quite frankly.
Right. So I remember what Trump said when he ran in 2024, and he said, you might not have to vote again after this election. So
Debbie, he says so much. I mean, you can't take any of that serious. I mean, I have friends, we have coffee every morning. Did you hear about this? No, that's not real. I mean, but that's the problem. You have someone that says stuff, what's real?
Yeah.
Right? What do you take seriously? So the redistricting effort, the party's all behind this, and they're going forward with it. What are some of the challenges, you think?
So it is really getting the word out, but not only getting the word out, it is combating misinformation. So if Republicans don't have arguments on the merits,
voted no or wanted people to vote no. There was some banner or something.
So that was.
Can they do that?
So that was. She wanted nonpartisan redistricting when we did it in 2020, right? But she has come out clearly and decisively. She will be voting for the redistricting referendum. President Obama has come out, right? And there's a video that he has presented because he thinks this is absolutely what we need to do now. You may remember that
his wife says when they go low, we go high. So he's flipped that. He's like,
we understand the era we're living in. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Geez.
So we are.
Times are changing.
Yeah, so for me, I feel like we're still supporting democracy. This is still our lawmakers bringing this to the voters.
Well, you put it to the voters.
Right, right. So we are, Virginia, proud history of, and we definitely want to see our voters have a chance to speak out on this. And President Obama's Attorney General, so Eric Holder had been a key voice over the past 10 years for nonpartisan redistricting. He is also supportive. He understands at the time that we're living in that we cannot allow all these other Republican states to just steal seats from the American people to have a Congress that remains docile to this administration. Because that's what this is really about on their side. It is maintaining Republican control in DC, and that allows President Trump to just go forward unfettered.
Okay. Well, we've got a lot more to cover there, so I definitely want to double click on some of those items. So, folks, I told you it'd be exciting, so come on back after this public service announcement. Thanks.
Nice going, Spencer! I can't believe we broke Old Man Hennessy's window.
Correction, dude. You broke. I just threw the ball.
This is really bad. What are we gonna do?
We?
Go to the door, ask for the ball back. Are you serious?
It's my ball, Myrtleback.
You're so dead.
I'd run away.
Yeah, to Uruguay.
Kiss your life goodbye. Sorry.
Let's go.
See
ya. Remember me and your well.
Nice one. Some friends you are.
Keep smiling, keep shining.
Hi. Tell him it was an accident. And we can fix the window. Come on. I'll come with you.
Loyalty. Pass it on.
You go first.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
One day these rats were playing in the woods. Well, it's a matches and that's no good. Listen to smoke before you give it a try. Only you. Don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Cause there's nothing very funny about $3,000. Nothing very nice on a homeless mind. So if a gorgeous force is what you desire, don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Yeah.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Fire.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again. But an awkward silence can be a great thing, like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
We're back to the Inside Scoop. Here again, your host.
Hi folks, Cesar here, back in Studio C for our third segment. I told you we'd have an awesome show tonight. Again, returning is my guest, Debbie Linick, the chairperson of the Fairfax County Democratic Committee. We have invited the other side to hear the contrarian view, but haven't heard back. So anyway, Debbie, thanks for hanging in here.
Glad to be here.
Let's talk a little bit more about the redistricting. So the Democrats want you to vote yes by April 21st to level the playing field as for seek. People can vote in person early, starting March
Already,
6th.
yep, underway.
Through April 18th. And again, those locations are available on the election Virginia Fairfax website.
So we have fairfaxvotes.org is where you can see where your polling stations are, see the dates, see the deadlines. I apologize, I don't have it in my head for when your mail-in ballots. So this is also an election where you can do mail-in ballots. You can, if you get a mail-in ballot, you can drop those off at the polling sites as well. There are secure boxes to do that. So you know, pick your way to vote, but definitely make sure you vote and vote on April 21st, if not before.
Now, April 21st, that is at the regular polling location for people.
All 260 plus precincts within the county, that's right.
And the early voting is at the remote
13 satellite locations. And the Board of Elections, you can Google Fairfax Board of Elections wait times. You can actually see real, and we provide that on our websites too. So you can see if you're planning on going to the poll, what the times look like. I'm a party official, so I enjoy going out there and watching people vote and giving them information as they're getting ready to vote. So I will give you a secret tip. Everyone thinks that if you go to the polls early, when they open at the satellite locations at like 1 p.m. in the afternoon, that's the best time that you're going to slide in there quickly.
No.
And
it's like 4 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock, yeah. Good,
you know it.
Good point, good point. Yeah, I've worked those many a time. Okay, so we talked about early voting, we talked about election day and the vote by mail. So yeah, it looks like you guys are revving up. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling like we have work to do to educate voters. Okay. So there's a lot of misinformation that Republicans are sending out. What really riles me up, they target our black community especially.
I saw that.
And and try to indicate to them that, you know, that our leadership is not voting for redistricting. Absolutely, we need to do this redistricting because that's what's going to level the playing field in Congress and make sure that we don't have a Congress that just rolls over to Donald Trump. So we need to correct misinformation. We need to be knocking on doors and letting them know. So I'm so thankful that you're doing this today because you're giving people real information about when and how they can vote. And that's exactly what our voters need. Once they hear from us, they're like, I'm coming to the polls.
Yeah, I think what the foundation of this show is just to communicate information. This is the vetted information. Here's the dates and times. If you're against it, do your own research. But the Democratic Party has taken a position that this redistricting is essential for many reasons. And it's up to the people to decide if they align with those or not. I personally, I grappled with this. People got to vote yes. People have to vote yes on this. I don't know. My concern is another 2 years of someone that was used to running his own corporation. So what I say just goes. I don't need a CFO to check me. I need a CFO to do what I tell them to do. So I think that, and I get where that comes from. He's a business guy. He's never worked in government. Government doesn't operate like a business, right? And I think that's what people, I think, are starting to realize. Government is not a business. It's not a for-profit entity. And I think people are starting to realize that, hey, you know, those decisions do impact me. Gas is $5.50 a gallon now, at least the super. You know, some of us drive different cars. So someone else said regular was almost $4 a gallon. So this stuff is starting to make a difference. So, but okay, that's redistricting. Let's talk about Virginia 2026. What else is on the map here? We've got a senator. I think Senator Warner is up for re-election, right?
That's right.
You're helping him get re-elected, I assume?
We will have primaries. This is another thing about voting that I'd like voters to know. Yeah. We're used to having primaries in June, but if the redistricting passes, it will take time for us to get to know our new districts and our new congressional candidates. Yeah. And so the primary will switch to August.
So this is huge then, right? So people need to know there are no June primaries?
That's correct.
For Congress, Senate, or both?
Either. So our primaries are moving. So if redistricting passes on April 21st, then the primaries move until August so that the voters get to meet their new candidates. Right. And until the point, again, Democratic Party stands for democracy. So until the point where the voters have selected their candidates out of a primary, we do not get behind, we don't put our thumb on the scales.
Right. No, that's great. And what's going to be different too is the primary date has moved. And by the way, your congressional representative is potentially a new person,
That's right?
Because Fairfax County now, and check me on this, it's now 5 districts. Oh my God.
Yes, yeah. But it's not that, so we've grown a bit because before we were 3.
Right, the 8th, 11th.
And the 10th. Okay, that's right. Yeah. And so for folks where the numbers are not the things that they pay attention to, your 8th congressional district is, our congressman is Don Beyer. Correct. In your 10th is Suhas Subramanian, and that's a small part of Western Fairfax. Right. And then James Walkinshaw has is he so will he be your congressman after?
I hope so, but
I'll let you know.
To be determined.
So he is my congressman, and he's been doing fabulous work.
Yes.
He won't be my congressman anymore, although I'm sure that all these members of Congress who've represented
Fairfax. This is the thing. You got to know who your representative is. So
State Navigator is a great
State Navigator.
Yeah, is a great website, and we also provide that information on fairfaxvotes.org. Mm-hmm. So we'll have that information where people can go and look and see what their new districts will look like. But you're right. So the 7th district and the 1st district will also wind its way through Fairfax County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be, and the same, if this passes, the same schedule holds for Republicans, Independents, Green.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Wow. So all the parties, all the interested parties, candidates will have to do a shortened primary cycle.
So we're trying. So this legislation, if the voters pass it, is trying to give them a longer lead time, right? So from April until August, they'll have a chance. And we in the local party. So again, Democratic Party is all for democracy. We want our voters to get to know all the candidates who are running. So even at our membership meetings. So I'll have a meeting tomorrow night. Yeah, this airs live, right? So this is Monday night,
right.
And so tomorrow night is Tuesday night, so I will be hosting my my every other month meeting on Zoom, and people can go to fairfaxdemocrats.org to sign up to attend the bi-monthly meeting, and you'll meet some of the candidates. So some
those
of
are open to the public, right?
Those meetings, that meeting is open to the public, and I'm expecting that some of our candidates are going to show up to say hi.
Just a few?
So yeah, I mean, we haven't passed the redistricting referendum yet, but some of the challengers want party members to get to know them.
Wow.
I expect that we'll host, after we get through the referendum, that we'll also host candidate forums and meet and greets and opportunities throughout Fairfax County. So whatever magisterial district you live in, and I don't know if we should explain that fancy term, magisterial district.
So just real quick, for the folks at home that live in Fairfax County, there are 9 magisterial districts. Mm-hmm. You each have, if you don't know who your supervisor is, get to know your supervisor, because that's the supervisor of that MAG district. That's how the county is structured.
That's right.
All those roll up into the Board of Supervisors. The chair, Chairman Jeff McKay, chairs that board.
So Hunter Mill and Dranesville, Mount
Providence,
Vernon,
Mason, yeah,
Sully, Springfield, Franconia. Did we cover them all?
Did we miss Providence? We said Providence.
Hunter Mill?
You said Hunter Mill.
I think we got all 9.
We got them all.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so what I want to say is that we're structured that way too.
Yeah.
And that in addition to my meetings that are once every other month, that bring together a few hundred people, each of the magisterial districts also will have meetings. And I expect that that would be another great place for voters to get to meet the candidates that are going to be running in each of these areas.
So voters should prepare for a couple things. Their phones are going to blow up. Right? I mean, just like they're going to get text messages from everyone. You're going to get door knockers during the summer months.
That's right.
Right? Wow, this is going to be a fun time to be chair in Fairfax County, or really in Virginia. Wow, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's going to build quite a momentum to the.
We're excited.
Oh.
Yeah, like I said, we had a meeting because just like the lawmakers wanted to give the voters a chance with the referendum to speak up, we wanted to give our party a chance to speak up, and 98% of them said, "I don't even take me through the full meeting.
Yeah.
Let me make my vote because I want to be heard."
That's pretty unanimous, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
yeah, pretty much. I think someone was asleep at the switch and just hit a button wrong. So there were literally 3 votes, and there were over 300 people that were registered to attend that meeting that evening, and there were 3 votes that for some reason or other didn't.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we've talked about it before. There is a portion of me that doesn't. It's distasteful, having to do this. But kudos for the Democrats for finally standing up and getting a spine. When a bully punches you, you got to make it stop.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Well, this is one way. Again, I hate the fact that you're having to do this, but the alternative is to do nothing and just give up.
And that
seats.
is no alternative, right?
Right. Then people scream at you for not doing anything about it. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But
I'm motivated.
I hear it. So we have one more segment, folks. I told you this was going to be a fired up discussion. Come back after the announcement. We'll be waiting.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
I got a creak in my neck, limp in my step, cramping in my muscles every time I try to flex. Better than I was scared but if you throw me love, I'll throw you some more.
It's a big responsibility.
Oh, it's huge. I know, it's huge.
And the salary.
Oh my god, yes.
Right?
I mean, like, I was about to move in with my parents, and right before, so this saved me.
I really believe in you, you know?
Thank you. It's nice to hear that from someone.
These are cool. Did you, what did you...
We're back to the Inside Scoop. Here again, your host.
Hi folks, Cesar here, back in Studio C for our final segment of the evening with my very special guest, Debbie Linick, the newly elected chair of the Fairfax County Democratic Committee. We have extended the invitation to the Republicans and others, so we're hoping you'll respond and come in and talk to us. So Debbie, lots of stuff going on.
Always.
You're new and you're handling it like a pro, I must say.
You're
what are
very
some
kind.
of the other challenges you've come across or like, I wish I'd known about that?
So,
what were some quick wins?
I think we've grown a really good team.
Yeah.
So I'm a Democrat who comes from a business background. I earned my MBA, and my goal was always to bring smart business practices into government. And so I look at the party as well, and I want to make sure that what we're doing, like everything falls from our mission. So our mission is electing Democrats and presenting the voters, so making sure our voters are as best informed as they can be when they're making choices at the polls. That means we don't get involved in primaries. We provide educational forums so that during the primaries, the voters get to decide who they're going to be electing. And so I was working before I got into office to build the team that would get us to do these things. So one of the things I'm really excited about is that we have a group of 11 caucuses. I could actually see room for more. So we have a thriving and very diverse community in Fairfax. So we have a very thriving and diverse Latino caucus. We have an Asian and Pacific Islander caucus. We have caucuses that focus on labor and worker issues. We are also connected with DemBiz, so kind of informally, but so that we're keeping our ears to the ground what our small business owners locally want to see us doing. And it makes, for challenging leadership when you have all those diverse voices, but like that's part of what the American tradition is, right?
You're speaking to the choir. It's just like, I mean, people understand that this type of leadership role requires so many people and understanding skills and the patience of Job, right?
But I think that when people see the words that I use, that I ran my campaign and that is my pledge to all our members, is I want everyone to have an experience that is meaningful, manageable, and joyful. So the role is meaningful if you understand how what you're doing fits into the bigger purpose. And I think that can be from our front desk volunteers, the people who greet people coming in to visit us in person, to our youth caucus chair. We have a new youth caucus chair. He's a sophomore in high school.
Awesome.
And he is just fabulous. He is bringing together all the high school young Dems. And from seniors to seniors, we have an over 50 caucus. They are deeply concerned about what this president is doing to our health care. Deeply, deeply. And that's why we have those caucus voices to sort of share those pieces with us. But meaningful means that whether you're seniors to the other kind of seniors, you're finding your purpose in what you're doing. So you're able to bring to the party that prescription drugs are just beyond what we can afford. Housing is beyond what we can afford. We live on fixed incomes. Or our students, education we can't afford because the federal government is cutting state funding and state funding that funds higher education, or even public schools. I mean, thank God we have a Democratic trifecta, because in the last administration, they were suing our public schools in Fairfax and Loudoun. I don't know what they thought they were accomplishing with that, but we want our communities to have a voice in what we're doing. And then we also want that role to be manageable and joyful, because we recognize that our party, in a county of over 1 million people, we have one paid staff person, God bless him. He's doing fabulous work. Everyone else is a volunteer. And whether you're our staff person or a volunteer, what we do needs to fit into the rest of our lives. We're living in a difficult time for our country. And so we want to give each other the space and grace to feel whatever it is we're feeling about what we're going through as a country, band together and find kindred spirits in the work that we're doing, but also make sure you're taking time for your health, for your family, for your kids. And if the work is both meaningful and manageable, that's where I think the joyful piece can come about. And I also want to make sure that everyone who's playing on the team is playing with that kind of collaborative spirit. So I hear politics can be a roll up your sleeves, nasty business, but doing the party work, I think that should be about a team spirit.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the focus is, as you said, informing the voters on what those values or priorities are, because that's an impact to how people vote on budget allocation. And if you don't have that like clearly defined, then people don't know who to vote for. Then it's like, it's just, I don't care, I'll vote for anyone. But I have found that people really want to know what your values are. You know, are you for collective bargaining, right? Are you for labor? Or are you for, you know, somewhere in between? Or do you just want to extract profit out of an entity? So those things.
And our party has an important role in providing that education in that forum.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention this segment, so I'm not the only one in this discussion who's been party chair, is that right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, right, exactly. It is not an easy thing to volunteer for. That's why I was curious as to what compelled you to volunteer, but you've got it. You've got the vision, you've got the drive, and really, I think you're inspiring a lot of people. You know, to put yourself out there with a new vision, change is always tough, even for folks that claim to be progressives, right? Change is tough. People like the way they've been doing things for the last 10, 20. How many people have come up to you? I've been a member for 40 years.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
But this is a new election cycle and things are different. So good for you for doing that. This is not an easy job.
And I want to do that, so everything that I want to do, I think, so our Democratic Party is about democracy, but it's also about transparency and openness in a democratic process. So if and where, so I'm not looking for wholesale change. We don't throw, there are plenty of things that, that our party has been doing right, that our values align with what voters want to see. They want us taking care of bread and butter issues. They want us defending fairness in our democracy. Where I look for change in some of the things I'm doing, I really try to articulate it and be available to all our members to answer their questions about what we're doing differently. So twice a month I do a Chair's Corner. And that's an hour that I spend that anyone can drop in and visit with me. Right now, I've been doing those on Zoom. I hope to do those in person sometime soon as well. But it's a chance for me to hear from our party members or visitors. And one of my other passions, one of the things I find meaningful in being chair, is I love recruitment and leadership development. And so we've got a great new team, and I want everyone to find their individualized pathway. So we get to know people, and I talk about superpowers, the idea that we all have superpowers, and that our superpowers can change on a dime. So, you know, what I'm feeling in this moment, like right now, I feel like I'm someone who can go on television. If you asked me that 2 days ago, I'm not sure I would have said the same thing.
For you, yeah.
But so I got a new superpower that I'm working on. And
later I'll show you my superpower is I can make a glass of wine disappear. Okay, so no, I think that's great. I think that's part of the, I sense a sort of inspirational element to you. So being able to get people motivated, focused on a task, that's huge. But you did that in business, I would assume. You did that in your different roles, so that's good. And the only other thing is, what I didn't like is you're constantly having to raise funds. Because politics is a money game, right? And it's
I remind people, so I remember, and this might be taking folks back too long, but Feingold McCain. So two great American patriotic senators, bipartisan, an era when bipartisan.
Wait, McCain, that was the guy that wasn't a hero because he was captured or something?
Lord help us. So John McCain.
Yeah.
John McCain.
I didn't say that. Someone else said that. You all know who said that. Cesar didn't say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quoting someone.
And I am a military spouse, and
Wow.
my husband was 30 years in, and we respect. It does not matter who you vote for at your ballot box.
Absolutely.
If you've served this country,
God bless you.
you've served this country.
Yeah.
And John McCain, what a patriot.
Yes.
And so they were looking to, place limits on what wealthy people could donate to campaigns. And Mitch McConnell turned around and gave us the kind of Supreme Court that completely eviscerated all that. So you're right, that's the environment we live in. But back to that meaningful, manageable, joyful, I sincerely feel a joy about what we're trying to do in Virginia. I'm excited about this Democratic trifecta and all that they've accomplished, and this redistricting amendment. So I feel like I have a compelling story to offer to people who might be in a position to be able to open their wallets, and I'm happy to have those discussions. And we have gone out so far with mailers, and people are responding. And so I'm very appreciative that whether it is your work, wealth, or wisdom, people are contributing to the party, and we're growing our efforts.
Well, as a former chair and a current party member, I'm always willing to, and I disclose it, who I donate and support. So if I get a call from a chair about a specific dinner or thing, I'll get a table. That's kind of what I do. So
thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
always
doing that.
Because I think the cause is just and honorable. I like to have a contrarian view. As I said, I have Republican friends. We have coffee every morning. I had another distinguished friend this morning talk. We can have respectful conversations, and we should be able to. So I'm not sure where things get lost. I really don't. I think it starts at the top, by the way, and that is the persona that resonates downward. I think most people aren't like that. Most people are like the friends I have, that we can sit and have a discussion, have a respectful dialogue.
That is my neighborhood too, and I
it's
think
most people's families, by the way.
Yeah, no, I can't actually. So earlier in the segment, I mentioned that I was in a bipartisan marriage, but
Right.
yeah, nope.
So, well, Debbie, thank you so much. I hope you come back when everything's done. Maybe we see what happens after the primary, but we would love to have you back. You're an excellent guest. You are going to do big things. Folks, thanks for joining. We'll be back. I'll be back in 2 Mondays. Talk soon.
Thanks, Cesar.
Great. Great.